got to tell me the history behind that jacket as well, too. It's got to be one to none. Look at that Cardozo jacket right there. Ron Naclerio here in the building, all-time winningest head coach for the city. Welcome to Wavy World. Glad to have you in the building.
Well, thanks for having me. I am not the all-time winningest coach overall. Jack Curran, may he rest in peace, 55 years at Malloy High School, is the all-time winningest Catholic school coach and overall winningest coach in history of New York City. The most wins is Jack Curran, 972. Yours truly has 961. Red Holzman, the New York Knicks coach, has the most NBA wins, 613. Lou Carnesecca has the most Division I wins, 526. Joe Nessie has the most Division III wins at New York University, 512. So when you put it all together, Jack, may he rest in peace, is number one, and I'm coming around the far turn.
But 11 wins?
11 wins to tie, 12 wins to beat him. Kenny Anderson, we all know Kenny.
Absolutely.
The Malloy great. I got to be very tight with Kenny. When Jack Curran passed away, it seemed like I kind of replaced Jack as a voice of reason or someone that Kenny can call to just ask that's not going to ask for money. He said that there's a Malloy mafia. And when I get like 969, 970, 971, they're going to come after you.
Mafia existed? That was a...
No, Malloy Mafia. Malloy Mafia.
There we go.
Because they want Jack to keep the record. But that day will happen. I have a good team. Last year, I thought we stunk. We were 22-7. The year before, we were 29-1. The year before that, 28-2. We're somewhere in between this year. So let's say I get 25, 26, 27. I'll have like 988. So next year, and I'm so happy I have 11 good juniors, 2 good sophomores, 2 very good freshmen. So that next year will be a really good year. So next year, sometimes God willing, stay healthy, I'll become the first to ever get 1,000 in the history of New York City basketball, which
phenomenal.
Is kind of scaring me because you always like to do what somebody's done. But what about when you do something that nobody's done?
It's unprecedented.
You know, when you think of 2 NBA coaches, one from Franklin K. Lane, Red Holzman, one from Eastern District, the legendary Red Auerbach, the Boston Celtics, they never did it. You know what? My assistant coach, Mike Bissett, he says, Ron, you put so much time in, start enjoying it. I never enjoy this because when I win a game, 10 seconds afterwards, I'm worried about the next game. I'm obsessed with winning. People say, what would you do different? I don't know if I would do anything different because I don't know things one way, but it's amazing how I look back and every kid's problem that they had became my problems to help solve.
You're in the journey, so it's hard to really
I don't want to embarrass him. There was a young man, last name Lou, first name Skip, middle name Tumai.
Pretty good player, right?
Very good player. There were times that he got in trouble with the law, and I had to worry about helping him out. There were a lot of kids. You know, I'm so blessed that I never did anything stupid to be in Rikers Island. But I've been to Rikers Island 4 times visiting former players to try to help them get out of a situation that, you know, it happens. You know, kids make mistakes. One of the best things that ever happened to me was when the principal of IS-8 tried to reach me because they wanted to send a player or 2 to Cardozo. He could never reach me, and they found out, doesn't he teach there? He goes, no, he's a sub. So they finally found a way of reaching me, and they said, listen, we'd love to hire you as a full-time teacher at IS-8. And boy, that was the best thing that ever happened to me because when I got to IS-8, I learned. I learned about the hood.
They put you around some of the brothers?
Around the brothers.
Yeah.
Man, I was shocked when I saw the Supreme Team documentary and how many of those kids were in my class.
Those people existed? Thomas, that was a real, I thought it was a team. I'm sorry. No. Okay, so Supreme, but, that's Queens.
And the assistant principal, Bernie Gober, saw something in me. And he said, Ron, you're not showing up to school for the next 3 months. What are you talking about? You're the guy we picked to be, for this course, a crisis intervention teacher. For 3 months, I learned about low self-esteem. I learned about how to deal psychology, how to deal with crazy parents. I learned about drugs, drug abuse, sexual abuse. You know, to me, if you were a pretty girl from the projects and Denzel Washington came to you and said, I want to take you out, to me, it would be, yo, the girl's going out with Denzel. But it's low self-esteem. You didn't feel worthy. You didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
So I really got an education. I call it education. I got educated. And the 80s really helped mold me into what I've done. There are a lot of things I did I'd love to brag about, but I keep them silent. Just like the other day, and it's been like that, I find out I have a very, very talented freshman. I hope, but when we scrimmaged Jefferson and he was out there, some of the Jefferson people gave him the nickname Skip 2.0. Don't want to name his name. You know, sometimes you're up at the plate and the Cy Young Award winner is pitching in baseball and you got a toothpick and you don't have a bat. So
that's baseball.
Yeah,
not
baseball.
Well, I don't know if you guys know.
I don't
know if you guys know.
Go H.
I played baseball.
Yeah,
on a high level.
Thanks.
I was all city at Cardozo. I was all Northeast at St. John's. Got drafted by the Chicago White Sox, and I got to the major leagues and played for the White Sox. So, you know, I was a BMF. Bad mother, watch your mouth.
I wanted to ask you, like, I saw one of the clips that you had in the Holiday Classic went viral, where you're in the hallway and you're like screaming and you're like, saying like, I wish that I can still go out there. If I'm 100 years old, I'll go out there and still. What keeps you so passionate and driven, you know, all these years, man?
You know, I tell you this.
See Ron everywhere.
We all have this. It's a positive disease. I have the fear of losing. I hate losing. My first year, I was 1-21. I was 1-21. And I made sure I went to every clinic, bought every tape, learned everything. Coach Carnesecca was like an uncle to me from St. John's, very tight with my dad. He's taking me here. He's taking me there. I got to know Larry Brown. Larry Brown realized that I wanted to learn, so I learned. And losing 2 kids from that 1-21 team, adding 1, and the rest, we were 22-4. And ever since, thank you. It's been great.
That's what's up. Coach.
Absolutely. Were you a better player or coach? I've seen some of the old tapes out there. We got not the baseball life, the basketball life.
I was a lot better in baseball. In baseball, I was a legitimate pro.
You're like throwing it between your legs.
Yeah, did you see all that? He was going around the back and throwing it off the backboard. I was like, that's wrong.
Yeah, see, you guys know me as Ron Naclerio, but there are parts of the city that know me as Skip to Naclerio. And you got to know that. My nickname at the Rutschert was the teacher.
The teacher.
Because you reach on me, I'll teach you. Yeah. And I'm glad that there has been some films, videos. I remember when we played the N1 mixtape game in 2007 or 2008, I was probably in my early 50s. And I'm playing against these guys, and I'm putting the ball behind my back, flipping it up. And thank God the person I was playing with knew that I was flipping it up to the rim. He caught it and dunked it, and it became like one of the greatest assists of all time.
Yeah.
Basically, it was lucky. I was trying to hit the shot, and he ruined it by grabbing it and dunking it.
Well, what can you explain about, you've seen so much basketball over the years and how the game has changed. You got the high school kids, transferring so much. You have NIL in high school and college and so on and so forth. I mean, what's your perspective on that with the game, how it changed so much?
Well, people don't realize it, and when I tell the kids on my team, when I first started coaching, there was no three-point line. There was no shot clock. I remember playing St. Anthony's of Smithtown, Long Island in the Monsignor King tournament, and we actually lost a heartbreaker in 6 overtimes. I was the assistant coach. They got the ball. They held the ball for the whole 5 minutes.
It's crazy.
The second overtime, we won the tip. We held the ball.
Jersey, they do. I officiate in Jersey. They still do that.
Yeah,
So I went to. There was a game. It went into 3 overtimes, and each team that got the tip held the ball in the last possession.
There's no shot clock.
It was horror, and they still don't have a shot clock in Jersey. They have. It's 2025. They have to do.
There were 15 states in the United States that still does not have the shot clock. Shame on them. They got to do that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But the game is ugly now. I mean.
Yeah. You know what, Thomas? I hate to cut you too. I was at a media day the other day for the boys, and basketball heads were there, and they were talking about the city. They saying New York City might have 10 Division I kids that possibly might go pro. Not pro, but Division I this year. What do you think about the public school and prep? Do you think that public school can still? They're saying 10 possibly this year. I don't want to say some of the names, but a few of them have already.
I think there are a lot of low Division I players. And you consider them low D1, they're D1. But what happens is the college coaches, and I've had 1 or 2 players the last couple of years that, I love when the college coaches start telling me I'm the greatest, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And then I tell them to take this kid, and they look at me like I'm brain damaged.
Wow.
I actually cursed out 3 or 4 college coaches in the last couple of years. There was a college coach at a Division I school up near Buffalo.
We'll tell you to tell us off the air.
And he's talking to me like he knows, and I know the guy. He was 2-24. I call him the following year to take this kid. Like, yo, don't take this the wrong way. You guys stink.
You probably should take this kid.
Come on, man. But I've had a couple of kids that I forced college, yelled at college coaches, whatever. And they were very, very happy.
Yeah.
I believe that there were so many kids in New York that can play Division I. The sad thing is the Division I's want the portal. They want the 5-year-old, 30-year-old compared to the 18-year-old. Then they'll look junior college. They'll look at the 20, 21-year-old in junior college because now junior college, those years don't count as eligibility. Then they'll look at the prep school kid, the kid that's reclassed more times than he's went to class, And then the last kid is the high school kid. Ever since COVID, the high school kid has been crapped on, shitted on, screwed on. College is for the natural cycle of a youngster into his late teenage years moving up to that college level. It shouldn't be for 24, 25-year-old guys that are married with a kid to play. I mean, it's disgusting. I think the NCAA, and they know it, they didn't want to give these inner city kids a dime. Did they deserve a dime? Yeah, they deserved several dimes. But they were so against helping these kids out, didn't understand where they came from, because that's what was great about me being an Ice 8. I learned, kids that were born with 2 strikes. And now it's the complete opposite. There are kids who have to stay in college because if they can stay 3-4 years in college, make $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, they're set for life if they get the right financial guide. So they don't have to work after college. I went to the big St. John's fundraiser that they had, and one of the bigwigs at St. John's said they spent $13,800,000 on this year's team. BYU spent $22 million on their team. So it's not amateur sports. It's ridiculous.
Well, you go to Cardozo, you play, and then it's tough for you to go D1. Like, You saying that you're calling these coaches, you're reaching out.
I've had 93 kids in my career go Division I. I've had 50 or 60 go D2. I've had countless go JUCO, countless go Division III. Right now, I have 18 former players coaching, 9 coaching in college. I have one former player who won a Division I JUCO national championship in Hutchinson. I have one player working in the NBA. I have another former player, associate head coach of the Houston Rockets, and within the next year or two, he's going to be a head coach. A lot of people, they go to a situation and they don't bring Q-tips. They don't listen. They don't understand. They have the answers. They don't even know the questions. And I'm at the point right now, I've learned if I keep my mouth shut and do the right thing, am I getting a job with the Knicks? Hell no. Am I going to get a Division I job? Hell no. They're going to look at me like I'm a fossil. I mean, I laugh because I tell people, they go, when did you start coaching? Yeah, when Babe Ruth was playing for the Yankees. But I believe the game has to have integrity. You can call me crazy. You can call me totally nuts. You can call me bonkers when you see a game. Don't call me. I'm not a cheater. I'm not changing grades. I'm not fixing grades. I'm not doing anything unethical. I can look at myself in the mirror. I know what I do at Cardozo. And I also have a very tough administration that, they follow the rules. I mean, they follow the rules, which is good because I'm not the person clicking on who's academically eligible or academically ineligible. I have nothing to do with it.
And now, speaking of that, a couple of years ago, you had a little hardship at Cardozo where they went in and, principal and everything. Like, how did that make you feel, man? Like,
my office?
It's your office, taking down.
Chancellor Banks, who's not the chancellor anymore, said that my office, because he saw it was historic, was the creme de la creme of any room in the New York City Board of Ed. I have a picture of it. If somebody wants to see, later on I'll show you. It was the most awesome room ever. It was beautiful. And when kids walked by the room, they all came in and were like, hum. And listen, unfortunately, the principal needed it for the ROTC. And now, when I go to practice at Cardozo or a game, I walk in the closet where the basketballs are and the mop is. I just throw my coat there. Because you know what? Was it a major slap in the face? Yes. But you know what? Like Forrest Gump, I'm still running. Still going.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Top 5 Cardozo players.
Wow. You know what?
Your top 5.
I can't. You know why? I can't answer that.
They're watching. They're watching.
No, you know why, though? First of all, when you ask that, is it top 5 when they were at Cardozo? Was it top 5 with what they did after Cardozo? So I'm going to give you a perfect example. There's a young man that has no chance in being the top 5 at Cardozo. But he was a first-round draft pick of the NBA, 1990, 18th pick, Sacramento Kings, Dwayne Coswell. Played in the league 12 years. Then do you take what a guy did high school, college, and pro? But at high school, strictly high school, I would have to say Ray Salnave because Ray's record, 3-year varsity, was 89-8.
Beautiful.
He won a city championship. He lost the city championship, but just to get there, he won 2 SNY invitational championships. He won 2 borough championships. So if you're going to go 89-8 with wins over Long Island Lutheran, Mount Vernon, Christ the King.
Oh, Jesus.
I get it mixed up. We actually beat Christ the King twice. They had Jose Alvarado.
Wow.
Great games. So, the teams we beat, boys and girls, Brooklyn Collegiate, Stinkin' Lincoln, Jefferson, to go 89-8 for high school, I would have to say. But
he's won.
You know what it is?
I covered
but you know what it is?
This summer.
If you have 12 kids, 11 kids, 10 kids, and somebody asks you, which kid do you hate? You're not going to say it. Which kid out of the 10 or 12 do you like the most? I know who might. How about this? If I pick the top 25,
Can you do that right?
68 kids that played Division I won't even be on the list. That's what I'm saying. We talked about, I have a kid that won 2 Division II national championships. You know how hard it is to win? He was a Division I player because of his grades. I'm talking about Radio Raheem Oates. And went to Cal State Bakersville with Ty Boogie Davis. They won 2 Division II championships. And I was so proud watching it on CBS where they won both games. So many kids have done so much. I'm a member of the NABC, National Association of Basketball Coaches, and we have our annual convention at the Final Four. And I've been going every year since 1986. The only year I couldn't go was 1999 when the Final Four coincided with the state championship, and we were in the state championship. We beat White Plains. Rice beat Long Island Lutheran, and we lost a toughie to Rice in the state championship game. I go there all the time, and I get very good seats. A good friend of mine now works for CBS, so I'm sitting in great seats. But there were 2 times I was really nervous because 2 times a Cardozo player played in the Final Four. One was Royal Ivy, Texas versus Syracuse, right, having a guard, Carmelo. And the other was Syracuse, James Sutherland. 6'9", still holds the record for most threes in the Big East tournament. Played in the NBA, played well overseas. He actually right now is a New York City policeman.
Wow.
Word?
Yep, he's a cop. And they make sure they put him, when the cops play the fireman in hoops, they make sure they give him the day off.
That's very smart, very prudent. We're top 5 queens. Street ball, pro, anything for your eyes perspective.
All right, I'm going to give you a, who's he? Who's he?
You tell me.
Bob Cousy.
Bob Cousy.
Andrew Jackson.
Yeah, my school.
One of the 75 greatest players of all time. Nobody would mention him. And that's why I tease some of the kids at Andrew Jackson and Campus Mag when they go, Coach, we're going to kick your ass, blah, blah, blah. I said, I never pop junk, but I said, you guys can't be that good. They go, why? Because the best player that ever went to your school was a white kid. Yeah. Who's he? Cousy. Yeah. Who's he? They don't know.
Yeah.
You know? But they had a player that Larry Johnson, the Nick stud, said was the best player he ever played against besides Michael Jordan. That was my man Lloyd Sweepy Daniels. It's sad because if Lloyd could have done it right, not had the drug problem, his bank account would have a lot of zeros. Oh my God, he was tough.
NBA career too as well. Spurs, couple teams.
Yeah.
So Bob Cousy, Lloyd Daniels.
From Queens?
Queens.
Now you got me on.
Thomas and Ike is here, make them proud.
I mean, I'm just saying, there's a guy that, I don't know if he's top 5, but he averaged 26 a game for St. John's. Billy Schaefer, a white kid from Holy Cross.
What's up with all the white kids, Ron? What's going on here? All the white kids. Just let me know what's going on, okay?
Oliver Mack.
But I say, put some brothers in there. I'm just kidding.
I got a lot of brothers in there. You go Far Rock. See, when you say top 5, I got to do my homework. But you have Mel Utley and Johnny Warren from Far Rock. You have, I'm trying to think of else from Queens. Lloyd Daniels has to be in there. Yep. Christ the King, you got to throw Lamar Odom in there. You know, I'm just trying to think. Khalid Reeves, Derek Phelps, Wendell Alexis, Holy Cross. Oh, St. John's Prep, Red Bruin. Go back.
How do you remember all
That's crazy.
Well, you know what it is? If you guys actually spent a half hour with me, went to my house, saw what I have in my house, and then you went to Cardozo, you would look at me like you're crazy. Like, when we play a game, I have scouted teams so many times. I write a scouting report. So like John F. Kennedy, when we played in 1999, the city championship game, I had 2 pages on each player, their strengths. Like J.C. Mathis, every time he gets the ball at the foul line, he's going 1 dribble left and coming back right every time. And I told the guys, we worked how to play him. If he goes left and stays left and he scores, it's on me. What they play on defense, they played a tremendous amoeba defense. Tremendous. A lot of guys don't know what an amoeba is, a 1-1-3 trapping zone. Then, man, they ran a play called automatic. And what was great, because after we practiced it and went through it, it wasn't automatic. So if you came in where I have my file cabinets, you would see scouting reports from the 80s, 90s. A friend of mine that's very tight with Jose Alvarado was zinging us because he beat us when he was a junior. We beat him twice as a senior. So I text Alvarado the 11-page scouting report we had on Christ the Queen, and he couldn't believe it. He said, damn, you know the plays better than the kids on Christ the King do. But that's from putting the time and effort. You know, people see me at a game, they don't realize I'm writing notes. Keep the notes. I have all my notes.
So, being at Cardozo for so many years, did you ever have NBA aspirations to go to the league or even college? Like, did you ever come close to like?
Yeah, my goal, I had two goals: to be the Knick coach or the St. John's coach. Coach Cardozo was like an uncle with me, and we got very tight. And when my mom died, he would call me every day, you know, and he said, he would call me Nunzio or Coachy, and he goes, the biggest mistake that I made as a coach was not hiring you as an assistant. And I do remember Walter Berry and a couple of those bigwigs from St. John's, somewhere along the line where there was a firing of a coach, they all wanted me to become the coach. A lot of people would say a high school coach can't make that jump. My answer to them is I got two words for them, and they're not happy birthday. Coaching is coaching. I've learned nothing from some NBA coaches. I've learned a lot from CYO coaches. Now, the biggest thing is recruiting. I was one of the guys, because St. John's, I believe, is a New York City metropolitan area job. I'm connected in that area. I would know who to hire as assistant, and I would know. I believe I can do it. And you know what I would say to all these college coaches that think a high school coach can't do it? Somebody gave you a break. Somebody gave you a break. You know, so don't tell me that I can't do it. And you know what I would say to some of these other coaches? I'm sure you would love to have what I've done in high school that you can do in college, because your bank account would be a lot better.
Do you watch the NBA game?
Everything.
What do you
I
think
watch
about
high
them?
school. I watch college. I watch pro. I watch summer basketball. I watch I watch the high school tournaments in the summer. I watch the street ball tournaments. You know, I used to go to the Ruck every day. I played in the Ruck. I had a team in the Ruck.
What do you think about the Knicks right now, currently?
I think Mike Brown is really going to make a change. Mike Brown and I got to know each other 1996. We were working the Sonny Vaccaro Adidas All-American camp at Fairleigh Dickinson. And I could throw him in the car. We actually I took him to the Rucker for the first time, because the Rucker was going on while the camp was going on.
5-star?
No. ABC, you know,
ABC, okay.
the American camp. And they had NBA coaches and like a top high school coach or something. So we'd be together. That's how I got to know Mike. And Mike and I stayed in contact, and I didn't hear from him from 7-8 years. About 7-8 years ago, out of the clear blue, I get this number, 440 was his. Ron, it's Mike. Mike who? I got your number from Sonny Vaccaro. So we talked for an hour or two, because he heard, that's when I broke the record for Coach Granby, 723. So it was about 8 years ago. So we stayed in contact ever since when he got the job. In fact, last week was the Bronx Basketball Hall of Fame dinner on Thursday night. The Knicks were off. The Knicks were in town. I text Mike to come. He goes, damn, Ron, I wanted to come, but I have a prior engagement. But then he texted me back, keep me abreast of whatever's going on in New York. Because, you know, like the New York City Basketball of Fame or the Bronx Basketball of Fame or the Brooklyn Basketball of Fame, then, you know, you know what? Are they going to win it? You got to be very good, and you got to be very lucky. You got to be good and you got to be lucky. Right now, are the Knicks good enough to win the East? Yeah. But right now, they're not good enough to beat OKC. Now, I want to just tell you a fact. The only 2 times the New York Knicks won the NBA championship was what years?
73 and 69. 69 and 73, pardon me.
69, 70, 72, 73. Yours truly worked for the Knicks those 2 years. I was the ball boy for the Knicks those 2 years. The only 2 years they won the NBA championship.
You want a job now?
So I was teasing Mike, maybe you should get the Knicks to hire me as ball
Yeah.
boy. That's a fact. And I have pictures. You know?
That'd be incredible.
Wow.
That'd be crazy.
You know what?
I would love to, honestly, I would love to see you, at that next level, man.
You know what? The sad thing is, people said, Ron, you can't do to NBA players the way you coach high school kids. And I understand that. So what would you do if you got a job as a head coach in NBA? I would just say, listen, fellas, I got to be me. One of my former players, who was the associate head coach of the Houston Rockets, Royal Ivy, who's going to be head coach, will make more money this year in meal money. So I'm going to say, listen, if I'm going to get on you to push you to become a better player, if I'm going to get on you to push you so that maybe you can get one more rebound, one more assist, one more point, and that's going to keep you in the league for another year or two, where you're going to make an extra 5, 10, 15, 20 millions, you should thank me. You know? Granted, I have to change. I can't, get in your face. You got to, hopefully you're playing this game because you love the game and you want to win. And when you put those two things together, your bank account will move up. And if you don't, if you want to dog it, I don't want to coach you. We'll put you in the G League. We'll send you overseas, because it's a business. It's a business of them making money, but for me, it's a business of winning, and I want to win.
Wow. Can you name, all your years of seeing basketball, top 5 moments that you've had or seen in general for basketball? Or anyone?
I remember, I think it was May 8th, 1970. Game 7.
Walt Clyde. 32.
Here comes Willis. He was the president. And that's how I got the job as ball boy. And when Willis Reed had a little problem with his heart, Ned Irish made sure that they sent Willis to my dad to check it out. It was nothing. Next thing you know, I'm at Willis Reed's All-Star Basketball Camp in New York Military Academy. Got to know Willis. What a great guy, the captain. You cannot judge the captain on his stats. So that was a top moment. For me, it was March 14th, 1999, Madison Square Garden, beating John F. Kennedy, first city championship. Wow, man. I was on cloud 9, trying to get to cloud 10, to cloud 11.
Do you still think it should be at the Garden? PSAL champion?
Well, the problem is the Garden doesn't want us because of the way we behave when we show up.
Right.
Last
year was interesting.
Yeah, that's, and then people don't realize it. Just to walk into the Garden, it's $80,000 to open up the building. $80,000. But I do believe that the New York City High School Basketball Championship should be at a special venue. Maybe, I don't think they would ever have it where you would have 1 o'clock the public school championship, let's say 4 o'clock the Catholic High School Championship, but nobody is more pro New York City basketball than me. I'll fight for New York City basketball. I'll bleed for New York City basketball. Then when it comes down to Catholic versus public, I tell the Catholic school coaches that I like a lot of them that I'm a public school guy first. And then I tell the public school guys I'm a Queens guy before the other boroughs. And I wish some of the other boroughs could read the rule book that the Queens coaches read, because a lot of the other boroughs, their rule book has different rules. There are none.
There's a rule book?
They
have that?
There are no rule books. And then, of course, I'm a Cardozo guy. What makes me feel good is Cardozo's colors are royal blue and orange. The New York Knicks are royal blue and orange. So I got something in common with them.
That's what you're wearing right now. Listen, what does peace mean to you?
Peace? The word peace
or where are you at when you have your most peaceful moments?
Well, I found my brother dead July 20th, 2002. My mom died 2018. My dad died young, 1984. Some of my most peaceful moments are at two places. My house, when I'm by myself and start looking back and say, hey, what's more to try to do? And believe it or not, the place that I have spent the most time in my history, minus my house, is at 57-00 223rd Street, the address of Cardozo High School, in the gymnasium. I have spent so many hours there. I was a student there in the gym. I was an assistant coach in the gym, head coach. So when I'm 6 feet under, maybe I can be buried at half court at Cardozo, and I can watch Cardozo games for the rest of my life.
Wow. I mean, that's a super profound way to, you're 11 wins away, and we're going to be here with the journey with you.
You're kicking me out, huh?
No, absolutely. You got the nice caddy outside. We got to make sure you get back good and get back safe.
Yeah. The name of the place, though.
It's been amazing to have you here, a legend.
Anytime, listen.
We had to make sure we bring you to Bronx.
I have, when people say, they try to build me up like I'm somebody, I just say, I'm the most famous nobody. Everybody knows me, but I'm a nobody, And they say, don't say that. So I said, all right, so listen, I'm an LS, a lifetime schmuck. Because I still doing this, headaches, parents cursing me out. So I know this year, parents that like me are going to critique my coaching. Why? And every why is going to go, my son. So if you don't like it, there's still time to make like an egg and beat it. You can transfer. I'm going to bust my behind to make your kid a better player, a better student, a better person, and I'm going to bust my ass to get your kid into college. Now, if he's a D3 player, I'm going to bust my behind to get him into a D3. If you think he's one and done, well, I remember, it's a funny story. I had a crazy parent about 10, 12 years ago. And the parent actually believed his son was a one and done. I'm looking at this guy. This guy must be smoking something that's not illegal. So my assistant coaches, so the parent comes in there, you're hurting my son's chances of being a one and done. So I said, don't worry about it. So I agreed with the parent. My coaches after the parent, they're ripping me a new behind. Like, why did you tell him? And he goes, he is one and done. 1 year with us, and he's done. We're kicking him out.
Coach, it was an honor, it was a blessing, man, to have you here today. I mean, I hope the people get to know a little bit more about you, and until you get that, that record, we'll see you at the Holiday Classic, too. So hopefully you'll break it there. Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Thank you.